In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a chart from an annual report and recreate it in InDesign. So with this, we have Scholastic Corporation, and I picked one from several years ago. And this is what it looks like. So a few lessons I've learned along the way, and this will be different for, different document settings, but I cannot copy right from this PDF screen, nor could I copy it when it was in PDF form. The only way I could copy it, bring it over to InDesign to recreate, was if I saved it as a Word document. So when you have this open, you're going to come to File, Save As, and then come down here to Format and Word Doc. So it will open like this. So to refine this chart, I went on page 23 of 104. Then I was able to click up here with this extra box, right click, and copy, Command C. Then in InDesign, I'm going to come over here, make sure I'm on my type tool. And this is just 11 by 17, nothing fancy here, but I would at least suggest that. Click and drag, and then Command V for that. We're going to come up to Table, convert text to table. Now, usually what you'll be able to do is figure out if the column separator, how the information is split up, is a tab, a comma, or a paragraph. That's done by going to Type and then hide or show hidden characters. Like if you did a return or something, it would show the big P that you've seen on English papers and such. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, this does not calculate with this PDF. So we're going to take our best guess. But, if you were working with a raw data type of thing where it wasn't already previously formatted, I'm sure you would be able to see that. We're going to put no table style for right now because we're going to set up a new one. And click OK. And, you come in here and you click and drag and you can make things longer, you can make things shorter. This is where, though, you have to start thinking about where everything lies. So, some things might be inaccurate in like where they're displayed, different things like that. So this is where, after we get our style set up, you might have to go back and readjust some materials and even delete some rows. So, the great thing about this is that, again, once the table is controlled by the type tool, remember. So if you don't necessarily want these to be, see, they have a typo in there. Ooh, look at that. If you don't want them to be separated by these lines, you can click and drag all of those, right click, and then merge cells. So then it would just be sort of one box. So that's one way you can work with it. To sort of reduce the distraction that might be involved. And don't forget too, like, let's say for whatever reason these were down here but they need to be up. You can just copy and paste. And then if you want to get rid of this whole row because maybe the information is gone now, all you have to do is come down to delete and goodbye row. So that is where we have to figure out how everything lies, how everything adjusts. We could take these, we can merge the cells, and they could read as that. So that is where your design liberties can be. So coming up here, you can go to Window, type in Tables, and then Table. So we have Table here, we have Table Styles, and we have Cell Styles, which each of these little guys is one cell. First, what I would have set up to help you is perhaps the color palette that you've been working with. So I'm going to go to Table Styles, and I already have several popped up Not much here, so I'm just going to actually delete those. And you can see that earlier I was playing around with basic style, and it's not that good. So what we're going to do, we're going to come into basic table. And we're not going to base it on anything quite yet. But this is where we get to have some fun, right? You do not necessarily need to have any border there if you don't want to. I was just having a lot of fun with setting it up. But if I want to dash, I could do that. How I got the yellow and the blue was the gap color. So I leave that as paper. And remember, paper isn't white. So yes, it looks white because most paper is, but if this was printed on a light blue paper, it'd be light blue. This is the color of the paper. And let's go black, okay? And again, you can have some fun with this, but go ahead and try some type of border out. We want a little bit more serious tone. There we go. And you could also work with the spacing if you want. And I wouldn't necessarily worry about these right now. Okay, so now we have row strokes. We have column strokes, okay? And then we have fills. So with this, depending on how the information is set up and reading, we can come up here and we can highlight it. So maybe we have this first one in every other row, okay? And I'm just going to do, there we go, we'll do a wave line. Let's make that the blue and the gap paper. All right, and you know, we can work with tint and everything like that. So, you know, if we wanted them a bit lighter, which is hard to see in a stroke, but you can do that. And then we have columns, and you can do, you know, alternating columns. Again, I'm just having a lot of fun with these. So this might be, you know, a bit much, where you might not even necessarily need like a crazy stroke. Okay? So, you know, have some fun now, but think about how really the design should look and flow when you're doing that. And again, you can come over and do the other one too. Fills. Okay. So this is where, again, you really need to think about the information. Do you want to do row? Do you want to do column? How is it best going to benefit the company? Okay. And this is where you would talk to someone else in the company too and let them help you. But, you know, so with this, maybe I'll go down here and, you know, maybe I will do, you know, like 50%, and then I'll come over here and I'll do this, okay? And then, you know, remember we haven't really set up a paragraph style, so this is all for the changing, right? But you can also make this if you wanted to, you know, 25%. So that's really up to you to work with, but go ahead and, you know, work with the strokes on each if you like. Work with the strokes on each, work with the fill, and go ahead and push OK. And then, you know, for paragraph styles, we've got preview on, but again, there's more to work with here, but just for right now, the color of the type, right? You can work with this. Change that up, figure out, you know, what sizing we'll do, right? So probably keep it at a 10, 11, 12 maybe, something like that. And there you go. So pretty crazy. This is definitely not the best design table, but you know, it shows that I've worked with everything, right? So I want to come here and just move that in. And there's my, you know, baseline grid from from the other time. So that might be too distracting. I might want to go turn that off. So remember, because these are styles, you can change them at any time. You can add headers. You can move this around. Now just remember, this is because it's in type, right? So you always have to have it in type to make that work, okay? All these things are adjustable and they can move, and you can combine and delete and everything like that. And that is how you can simply bring over type or raw data into InDesign and work with that.